Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Tia.
And I'm your host, Koya.
Welcome to the Wig Life Podcast.
For wig lovers and wearers navigating life.
Because it's not just wigs, it's life.
Let's get into the episode. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Wig Life Podcast. So I'm excited about this episode today, you guys. We are going to be talking about wearing wigs in the workplace. I know I had my feelings about wearing wigs in the workplace. Tia, did you have feelings about wearing wigs in the workplace?
My work had feelings. I didn't.
Right. So I'm excited because we have a special guest with us today who is going to help us break this all down. We have Faith, aka Still Looking Good 58, as our first guest. Thank you, Faith,
Thanks
for coming
for
on.
me.
Yes, thank you for coming to the Wig Life Podcast. So Faith has some great things going on online and off. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this episode. So how did you get into wigs, Faith? What made you first start wearing wigs?
I think the very first wig that I ever had was what they used to call a fall. My sister back in the 60s used to sell wigs in New York, and they used to call them falls. It was like a piece of hair that like she said, a half wig that kind of sat right there, and you put it on your head and you use your own hair in the front. It was called a fall back then, but yeah. Okay. And my sister gave me one when I was in elementary school. I used to walk around with that thing on my head. I'm like, this is so cool. I used to go to the park and put it on, and you'd go to the park in it. So
love that.
Yeah, so that was my first time ever wearing one. But like really wearing one as an adult, I think I probably it might have been maybe in the 80s, because I used to do a lot of transformation with my hair. Sometimes I would cut it really short, then I would grow it back out. Then I would put braids in it. Then I would take them out. And I mean, I just never could decide on how I wanted to wear my hair. So I wore it all different ways all the time, my real hair.
Yeah.
And I think at the points where I was in between hairstyles, I would wear a wig. And I think I'd only purchased one in my life at that time. And I mean, it was a wig that had bangs, and, you know, it wasn't like lace or any of that kind of stuff. You just kind of plopped it on your head, and that was that. And I felt real self-conscious when I did wear it, because I never worn a wig like for real as an adult. And because my hair was pretty long, and I was always conscious that I had it on. It's just like when you put a hat on. When you wear a hat, you know you have a hat on all day long. Right. So when I put that wig on, I knew I had that wig on all day long. So I was always constantly thinking about it. Does it look crazy? Does it look real? I mean, you know. And so I didn't wear it that often. And it wasn't until I got laid off from my job and I was looking for work, and it took me several years to find another full-time job. And during that time, I lost a lot of my hair, and it was stressful, of course. And so then I thought, okay, I need to go and get a wig. So I go and dig out the whole wig that I had with the bangs, and I'm like, oh no, I can't wear this. So I go on YouTube and see whether people are actually on there wearing wigs. And the first person that I saw was the Hearts and Cake 90.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was addicted. Once I saw her, I was like hooked. And I watched all of her videos. And this was like in 2017, something like that. I watched all her videos. And I started purchasing a couple of wigs. I think my first wig was, I think it was Slay H Jean by Zuri Sis or something. I think that was my first one. And it had bangs. But it was like maybe 16 inches. And I wore that to work. When I finally did get a job, I wore that to work, and I didn't feel as self-conscious in it because it looked more realistic. And I was thinking, okay, wigs have come a long way. The one I had looked bad, and this one looked kind of like real hair. So I was real happy about that. And so I got more comfortable, and to the point where I was wearing a different wig like every day to my job then, because I was a customer service rep. I mean, that was the first job I could get. And as a customer service rep, everybody comes to work looking like whatever they want to look like: green hair, red hair, you know, stripes or whatever. So I just thought, well, I'll fit right in, and I can just wear whatever I want. So yeah, that was how I got started.
It's really interesting that you use the term fall, because Akoya and I discussed this, and we're going to do a podcast about this. But you know, I hover a little bit more on the name brand wig side, and she hovers in that affordable beauty supply store, or like human hair, and they still call them falls on the name brand
Oh,
wig side. So
oh
their
wow, I
hot
didn't know that.
wigs are falls. Yeah. So it's just interesting. That's why I knew what it was, because that's the term they use still.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's an old term, but yeah.
So what are your beliefs on you shouldn't be wearing a certain wig, or if you are a certain age, you should be wearing a wig? What is your philosophy or your beliefs with that?
It's funny that you brought that up because I actually did a collab with Tia and we talked about this. I think it was
Yeah.
last year or the year before we talked about this. I feel like as an older person, I want to look like I'm not crazy. Like I did a
Yeah.
video on my YouTube channel about how to not look crazy as an older person when you're wearing makeup or hair.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look crazy, but that's just me. Some women don't care. They'll go out in anything. I was at an event about a week or so ago, and a woman was sitting in front of me, and she was an older woman. She had on a wig. It was sitting way back here, and you could see her hair, and it was sitting way back here, and you could clearly tell that it was not the same texture as hers. And she didn't do anything to it. I mean, it wasn't one of those that you could pluck or anything. It was like a simple part wig.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took everything that I had to not jump in front of her and say, let me pull this wig down on your head. Or let me show you how to fix this unit.
Right?
I mean, it just really, it was driving me crazy. But some older women, they're so used to just putting it on. And that's kind of why I decided to do what I did. I came into the wig game after I had watched Britney for a while and thought, where are all the older women? Where are all the old ladies? Because I know a ton of old ladies that wear wigs. So why are there not people on YouTube that are talking about it and showing them how to do it? And so I thought, well, I'll just start my own channel. And that's kind of where I started right after I was watching Britney. I started my channel because I thought these older women that I see at churches and things, they are looking like, Diana Ross and the Supremes. I mean, they're like, they don't know how to style it and wear it like they should wear it. And I want to be able to show them that they can look even better if they just learned a few things on how to do it.
And that makes a lot of sense. It's funny because you were talking about like looking crazy or whatever, but I did a video on some of my things that have changed. And there are some times when people are like, you should pluck that part, you should pluck that hairline, or you should do that. And like, I'll be honest with you, there's just times like, I don't care. Like, I know that it looks like a wig. Everybody knows I wear a wig. Like, so there are times like I can relate. Now, I want it to be on the hairline.
Right.
But in general, sometimes I'm kind of like, I don't even care today. You know what I mean? I'm not blending. And I think sometimes with older women, because there is such a plethora of younger women slaying wigs and melting lace and the baby hair, I think there is such a need for someone with your same vision, because they probably are thinking, listen, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing all that. So I might as well just put this hat on. I have this lady at work, she calls it a hat. She's like, I'll just put my hat on and go. And I'm like, yeah, you're wearing it just like a hat.
It's funny that you say that too, because since I started my Facebook group, which is My Mature Style, the women that are coming,
check it out, people.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm very excited about it. I've got like 60 members right now, and I don't really care that there's only a few people, because my whole goal for that group is, like you said, I want to be closer to the ladies that I had been talking to for these past 5 years on YouTube. I want to be able to really get into what it is that they want and what they need, and be able to address them specifically without worrying about a big production or saying the wrong thing because somebody sponsored my video or whatever. So I'm trying to make sure that in this group that I'm addressing those kinds of things, and I'm asking them, get involved, talk to me, talk to each other, so that we can figure this out together. I mean, I've learned some things, but I don't know everything. And I really want them to feel comfortable in there. And so far, it's worked out really well. I can, like I said, I can talk to them about whatever. I don't always lay my wigs down in there. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I mean, there's a lot of glueless opportunities out there, as you guys know, with new units. Yeah. And so you don't have to glue it down. Just tighten that thing in the back, you're good. So as long as the lace is matching, you want to at least look decent, especially if you're going someplace. If I'm running to the grocery store, I'm like UT, I don't care. But if I'm going someplace out, and somebody's, I'm not expecting the people to be all up in my face looking at my lace, but I want it to look decent enough that, I'm not feeling uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, I agree. You want to be comfortable and you want to
Mm-hmm.
be confident and feel, good about and
And that's
not
what
like
you
you
wear
said,
wig for, to look
yeah,
different.
not worried about is everybody looking at me.
Mhm.
Well, whatever that comfort looks for the person wearing it. We all have
Yeah.
different preferences.
Right.
So, it's fine. You want it to look more realistic. I have a lot of ladies that really want it, like they kind of want to not trick, but they don't want people to know they wear wigs. I have a friend that does, she wears the same brand, the same color, maybe slightly different styles, but she doesn't deviate. I know she's wearing a wig because she's like secretly texting me, but in general, like the people in her life don't know. So, and there are people, and that's totally fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be wearing this color hair, green hair, headband, if
Right.
you don't want to be doing all that's, and there needs to be someone to help you.
Yeah.
There needs to, for
Right.
all of those things,
Yeah.
for everyone.
What advice would you give to someone who may be afraid to wear a wig to work? I know you kind of talked about that a little bit earlier with, kind of having a little bit of fear or confidence of wearing it, but what advice would you give someone?
You have to you have to get to your own comfort space. So if that means you're going to wear something like with bangs first, and maybe
Yes.
get comfortable wearing that, and then maybe graduate to a lace part or a lace front or whatever, if that's the way you feel about it. And to Tia's point, if you want to, if it doesn't really matter to you, I guess you can wear whatever you want. But like, let's say that you're an executive and you conduct meetings and those kinds of things, and you may be on camera for some reason or other, you may want that wig to look flawless. First, like I said, I would start out probably with a banged wig and get comfortable with that, and then move into lace fronts or lace parts. Especially if you don't feel like your skills are up to par. I would work on that at home first or in front of my friends or whatever before I would wear it to my executive meeting or whatever, just to make sure that, you're feeling confident about it, because you don't want it to distract you from what you're doing. If you're giving a presentation or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, you
Right.
don't want it to distract you. So you just have to find out what that comfort level is for yourself. Like Tia said, everybody's different, and you got to find that
Yeah.
comfort level for yourself.
I think that's great advice too, to wear bangs at first, because those wigs are so easy to apply and you don't
I
have
love
to worry
those.
about melting lace, blending lace, especially if you're just, beginning. I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I just asked RPG show, was it Outlet? I think it was the Outlet. I just asked them to send me one of their banged wigs, because I don't have any human hair banged wigs. Well, actually, I did, but I sold it. I'm like, like I said, I'm like Miss Chrissy. I'm always selling my units, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why did I sell that? But yeah, I asked them to send me a banged one that I'm gonna review. I guess they want me to review it.
What you guys are both saying, I always suggest to my people, to wear the half wig with a headband. Like,
Mhm.
you can't go wrong. If you have bio
That's
hair,
true.
yeah, you can push it back and have your bio hair. If you don't, because a lot of my people don't have bio hair, then and I think that's important. We have a podcast about this coming up,
Mhm.
is the levels of wigs. And I don't think, because you see that, like you're saying, the melted lace, the this and that. And so you can go in and get this, even this one, this had a lot of lace. You can get this from Zuri Sis, and you're like, oh, that's great. And it's only like $45. But if you don't know what you're doing,
Right.
first of all, you can just waste $45 cutting too much, doing this, doing
Right.
that. Like,
Right.
or, even a beautiful lace front can look crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it can
That's
look
right.
wrong if you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing. And it
Yeah,
can be
I'm
very
glad that you brought
frustrating.
that up. I'm so glad you brought that up, because when I look back 5 years ago, I was totally clueless about what I was doing. And I have messed up a couple of wigs, because and I have to admit, I'd probably say just in the past year and a half, I really learned how to lay it down right. And so it's been almost 5 years, and I finally learned how to lay it down right, where it doesn't look like, as they say, cloggable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know what you don't know either. I
Right.
think when I got my first human hair wig, I went and bought it from OMG Her Hair or something. I saw Dominique A do a video, and she used to like really slay him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I could do what she did, right?
Hers
No.
was insane. Her videos were like
Yes.
ASMR for
Yeah.
wig slaying. You'd be like, what has happened?
Exactly. And I caught myself trying to do that. I bought a wig that she had reviewed. I had no idea what I was doing because first of all, I didn't know how to choose it. So when I went on the website, I didn't know that I had a choice of the color of the lace. I didn't know I had a choice of the length of the wig. I didn't know a lot of stuff. And I didn't know about the size of the cap or any of that stuff. So I made all these bad choices. So when I got the unit, it wasn't fitting right. You know, it was just looking crazy. And I'm thinking, when I need to make a video now to show people what I learned, and that's what I did. And so I started doing stuff like that as I went on my channel, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. And you're right. Buying a synthetic wig from the beauty supply store is very different than getting a human hair wig. There's a lot more customizing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there is. But I'm glad that Tia brought up the headband wigs too, because I totally forgot about that. And that's a shame because I have a headband business.
Yes.
So I should be focused.
So I'm just going to say that right now. So for those of you who are listening, I'm wearing a headband wig right now. That is my go-to work wig because they're so easy. There's not a lot of work to put them on. And I am wearing one of Faith's headbands. So of course we will put that in the show notes and in the description box. But yeah, I'm going to just show it right here. There's another one I got and I'm wearing this one right now. They're beautiful and they're great. So if you want to support Faith in her business, definitely get into headbands, and a headband wig is a great option for a work wig for sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'll have to check those out because like I say, I really suggest to my people to do a half wig with a headband, or to get a headband wig that has the black headband so you can put another headband on top of it, you know, for versatility. So I definitely, you know, I'm going to make a note, face headbands. Yes. I got to go look into that because I definitely wear them a lot. So
yeah, it's slg.myshopify58.myshopify.com. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I started that business is because that headband craze was like doing it in 2020.
Yes.
Like everybody and their mother was putting out headband wigs. And I thought, okay, well, I started looking on Amazon for headbands. And I just really didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the quality of the headbands. They were really thin.
I'm picky about them.
You know, they tore up really quick. And I thought, I've been sewing since I was 13 years old. I'm like, I need to just go ahead and make some. So I thought, well, okay, what do I want? I want to make sure it's got really good fabric. So I've got to pick my suppliers very particularly. I want to make sure that I can get some thick ones for the wintertime and thin ones for the summertime. And they need to be stretchable. So I want them to be a particular type of fabric. And I also wanted to be able to give them solids, texture, you know, all kinds of things. And so that's why I started my business. And I also want them to be wide.
Yeah.
Because, I think Weezy influenced me there because she doesn't have a lot of hair in the front. She doesn't have like a forward hairline. And Dominique A doesn't either. And so you notice she hardly ever wears headband wigs because she doesn't have a lot of forehead hair. And so she wants they wanted something that was thicker that could cover that over.
Cover that area. Yeah.
And that's why I made the thick ones. But then I started making what I call the skinny ones too, for those who don't really need that. But yeah, that was my big deal, is to material that doesn't mess up your edges, you know, some nice quality stuff, you know, handmade, wide enough or thin for other people. And the first month that I started that, I sold a lot of headbands. I think I got about $1,000 the first month.
That's amazing.
Headband sales. And I thought, oh, this is cool. My husband's like, oh, you're finally doing something in that wig thing that's making some money.
Yeah, right.
That's why I did it. And then I thought, after I, you know, decided to make my decision about YouTube, which I guess we'll talk about later, I really want to focus a lot more on my business.
I really love what you're saying because, you know, as you know, Okoye has her Silky Sacks business. You know, I have my Tia Maria wigs, so I do the online retailing now. And we've had these conversations. I don't know if this is directly on this list, but I think it's going to be really important to talk about is, have you experienced or understood this like pushback to like make money? And I say that because people were like, well, I can get a headband on Amazon, not like Face. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, or I can get this or I can get that. Yeah. And you're going to get a $5 headband. You're going to get a $3 headband. And also, don't think they're not making money on that $3 headband. Like, so this is just this thing that's been percolating in my mind now that, you know, I left my job I make my income and pay my bills based on wig retailing. And I guess I never noticed how people are like, oh, this is a scam and that's a scam. And why is it this? And why is it that? And it's kind of like, people don't realize what it really means. And like you're saying, the specificity, the quality, it's handmade, supporting each other. The world doesn't work unless you insert money into it. Like, we might hate it, but that's how our world operates. So if you have any kind of thoughts about that part of it.
First of all, I've always been the kind of person that I'm going to go into Bloomingdale's, but I want to sell. I've always been like that, because I know that I used to work in retail, and I know that they mark it up like 75%. So I'm like, okay, if I get a 75% off, then I'm paying what they pay for. And that's kind of the way I looked at it in terms of that, because I knew their quality was good, but I didn't want to pay a lot of money for it. When I started my business, I wanted people to know, yes, my quality is good. And yes, you're going to pay for it. I'm not like Bloomingdale's. I'm not that big. I'm small. And so you're supporting a small business. You're supporting a Black woman business. So if that means something to you, then the price won't really make that much difference, especially if it's not exorbitant. So like you said, we need to support each other in our businesses. And we also need to get the word out to people about the quality of the work that we're doing in terms of our businesses, so that people can share that with other people and let them know, no, this isn't your 10 headbands for $10 on Amazon.
Right.
Because you can get those 10 headbands for $10 at Amazon, but that headband is not going to last very long. It's going to be really cheap material. It's not going to be good quality. And that's the difference. It's like, I bought a pair of shoes at Neiman Marcus. No, it wasn't. Oh, Saks Fifth Avenue. Years ago, I bought a pair of shoes at Saks Fifth Avenue. I paid $200 for those leather shoes. I had never paid $200 for a pair of shoes before, because I just thought, how crazy. I'm not going to do that. Those shoes lasted me so long. I could not believe how long I had those shoes. And I'm thinking, duh, Faith, you're paying for it because it's good quality.
Right.
So if you're putting out good quality, people either have to know what that means or they don't know what it means. And that way we have to educate them as to what it means.
So getting back into the work wigs, do you have a favorite wig that you would wear to work or wear to work?
I tell you what, my favorite wig was to wear to work when I first started wearing them. And just before I started my channel was Bobby Boss Lena.
Oh,
Bobby Boss Lena. That wig was a short middle part, straight bob. That was it. People went crazy over that unit. I mean, that unit sold like hotcakes when it first came out. Yeah. I had like 3 of them, I think. I had the blonde one with the dark root. I had the black one. I had the number 2 or 4. And then I got the Lena Sleek, because the Lena Sleek was different than the other Lena. Yep. The first Lena was like more of a textured wig. Yes. It was more of an African-American type pressed hair type. But then the Lena Sleek was a little bit silkier. So I got that one. And then, of course, they lost their minds and started bringing out 50 million different Lenas. And it's like that, I lost it. I was like, okay, never mind. Because I was like, okay, you're overdoing it now. We don't really want that many Lenas. Right. But they had the Lena that was shaped like the Egyptian. They had the Lena this, the Lena that. And then they kind of, at that point, Bobby Boss started going downhill.
Well, Outre did that with Nisha.
Yeah.
And they're still on that. They're on Nisha. They're 15 to 19.
They're milking that. They're milking that for all they can get. That.
Yeah.
That's the same thing Bobby Boss did with Lena.
Yeah. They
find that first wig. Right. That was the first wig that I was crazy about, that I wore to work every day. It was that Lena joint.
They find those wigs that really do well, and they just keep like making different versions.
But you know who did not do that, and they should have, and that was Free Tress. When they came out with Valentino, what the heck were they thinking? When they saw the popularity of that unit, they just kind of fell off the face of the earth after that. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
Well, they revamped it, and I can't remember the name
of it. Kamala or whatever her name was. Yeah. So, but I mean, it was too much time passed between Kamala and Valentino for them to really capitalize on that unit, I thought.
Yeah, I think it could have done well, because they've actually redone a lot of those in a lace front version, because they did the Valentina, the Viva. The thing is they
Yeah, they
renamed
did do
them.
Viva, yeah.
So you don't know, like I only knew because I'm obsessed with Valentino.
Right.
And somebody said, I think this new one is the new Valentino. I would have never known that. So I've noticed that they have redone that whole line in lace front versions, but nobody, because they renamed them. See, that's where they actually went wrong. I think they could have had a whole new resurgence, but people are kind of like, eh.
This is Valentino lace, so this is
Yes.
Valentino with bangs, so this
Right.
is Valentino with, you know.
Yep.
Well, I was real upset because when I first started my YouTube channel, the two biggest companies that I was getting wigs from was Model and Free Tress. Outre wasn't even a thought in 2017 in my mind because nobody was really wearing Outre that much. I mean, they were okay, but you know, they were like this to me. And Sensational was kind of there too. It was really Bobby Boss, Free Tress, and Model. And then all of a sudden, Outre just starts blowing up out of the blue. What, 2019, something like that?
Yeah.
And it was like they come up with all this different stuff, and they just kind of took over. So I was a little disappointed that Free Tress and Model didn't continue to step up like they had back then, because they were really the big ones back then.
I actually think they're the same company.
You think Model and
I'm
Free
pretty
Tress
sure.
are the same?
I'm almost positive.
Now I know that Shake and Go is the main company for Free Tress, but I think Model is separate. I'm not sure, but I know Shake and Go is Free Tress Equal. It's regular Free Tress. It's there's about 4 or 5 other ones. I think.
Well, they must be getting them from the. You know, there's only so many factories. They have to be getting them from the same factory because you can line up. You can literally line up. I call it Model, Free Tress, and Made Beauty. You can line them up.
That's right.
I'm like, this is the exact same wig.
That's true.
And I noticed that now that I retail on the name brand side, that a lot of them are the same.
Well, you can help us. You can help us by telling us that information as wig wearers too, because Mady, you're right. They're almost the same as Free Tress. They may even be the same, and they may also be under Shake.
I think they're the same manufacturer. It's kind of like Shop Hair Wigs and Ebony Line. They're the same company.
Yeah, right. I know they're the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all shipping from the same exact address.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Unit number. I was like, wait.
Right. Yep, that's true.
So let me ask you guys this. How do you answer when you wear your wigs to work? If somebody asks you, are you wearing a wig? How do you answer that? I'm just curious.
I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. I think what I did was I just came out and told them, you know, because like I said, when I worked in that customer service environment, everybody was just kind of doing their own thing. And so when I came in, they knew I had a wig on because my hair was like different one day and the next day it's like blonde. So they knew I had a wig on. So I just kind of decided I'm just going to own it. I'm just going to own it, and I don't care. You know, I'm just going to own it. And if they, you know, nobody's really ever asked me. I just always came out and told them. Or if somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, your hair looks so pretty," I'd say it's a wig. I mean, right away I would just say it's a wig.
Okay, Tia, what about you?
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. So I started my wig journey. So I left my job I still work there part-time, and I work with kids. When I started my journey, I had hair. And then I cut my hair off because, we talked about my hair loss journey. So, but again, like I had said before, I always wore my hair up in a bun. Like people didn't really know what it looked like. But when I started doing this, I used to film before work. And, I was over here putting 5-6 videos out a week. So I was in a different wig every day. Now, some people were bothered because since I was new, they wouldn't realize who I was. Like immediately. And we didn't have an office that was super open to the public. And it's a small office and it's mostly women. And so at first people were like, I don't like that. I don't know who you are. But then it's funny because one time I came in and I hadn't stayed at home. So I wore the same wig which was just not a thing. I didn't wear the same wig 2 days in a row. And that same person was like, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? And I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, well, you had that wig on yesterday. So I was like, so wait, now you're bothered that I don't have it? So everybody knows. And when people ask, if I would be out, people would be like, oh my gosh, you love your hair. I always told them. But I mean, for me, that was my business. I was trying to grow my YouTube channel. And so I will routinely, and people will be like, no, you're not. And I'll have to be like, yes, I am, and pulling up the lace and showing them the hairline. And I don't mind. But I know some people, they don't want to be telling people that all the time, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I say whatever makes you feel comfortable. I say, if they say my hair is pretty while I'm at work and I have a wig on, I just say thank you. And then if somebody asks, then I'll say yeah, because I do think we need to normalize, like, people wear wigs. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
that big
There's people with alopecia and all
idea.
kinds of things,
Right.
they have
There's
to wear
people
them.
who need to wear them. Yeah. So I
Right.
do try to normalize, yeah, it's not that big. But yeah, you just answer how you feel comfortable. I was just curious because everybody has their own way. And I think you're right. You just answer with what you feel comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, I have an uncle who always says, who'll be like, is that your hair? And I'm like, yep, I got the receipt.
Thank
So
you. Yep,
I love that.
yeah, I'm like,
That
I got
needs to
the
be
receipt.
some type of merch.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
And he
I
just
bought
cracks
mine.
up.
That's right.
So we're just about ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, Faith, still looking good 58, for coming on. Now, I know you just recently pivoted and stopped doing YouTube, and now you're going more into TikTok and Facebook, and so Instagram. So I want you to tell us a little bit about that, and then also make sure that you let us know where we can find you online.
Yeah, I did a video, my last video on YouTube, letting people know that I was leaving because I had been on YouTube for about 5 years, and that's not a long time, but for me it was, because when I started my channel, I was 60. I'm 65 now. So
still looking good.
So yeah, I just felt like I was running out of energy, and you just can't keep up with people on YouTube. You can't do it. There's just, and with all the young people who are in it and all the time that they may have to do it, like I said on my video, I have a husband, I have Bible studies, I have a full-time job, I have a business. I don't have time to do the kind of production that I feel YouTube requires. Other people may not feel that way, but I feel like YouTube requires a production. And I want to entertain as well as do my review. And I'm also trying to attract sponsors. So they're expecting me to do things a certain way. And I just felt like having to be pressured to upload like 3 to 5 times a week and that kind of thing. I just didn't want that anymore. And that's why I decided to leave and just start my Facebook group, which is My Mature Style, because I knew I could address their needs in there just as well as I did on YouTube. And I'm still looking good 58 on Facebook. But I have the group My Mature Style on Facebook. And then I changed my name to My Mature Style on TikTok and on Instagram, because that's really who I am. I'm older, and I want people who come to my social media to know that I'm an older woman doing this. And I want you to feel comfortable, with me, giving you advice, because I kind of am where you are. And this is what I've learned, and I want to share that with you. So that's basically what I decided to do. Since I've left YouTube, I am so much more relaxed.
Good.
I feel so much better. I'm not like coming home after work and trying to throw a video together. My husband's coming home. He wants dinner. He's not the kind of person who's like pressures me to do that kind of thing. But I feel like I should be doing certain things that I can't do or could not do because I was spending so much time recording and doing it over again, and then editing it, and then taking the pictures and then posting them everywhere. And people don't really realize, I don't think, that there's so much time that goes into YouTube or even any other social media, depending on how much time you put into it. It just takes a lot of time if you want to do it right. And that was me. I just felt like I can't do this the way it really needs to be done. So I got to go.
And so now you mentioned earlier your Facebook group. So of course we will have links to that if people want to join My Mature Style. And basically the group is, you're talking about hair, makeup, clothing.
Yeah, I'm talking about hair. I'm talking about makeup. I did a fashion haul of evening gowns last week for women who go to galas and things, because a lot of those things come up in February and March.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing exercise and fitness because I'm actually trying to get myself back into my fitness routine. So I'm going to be doing that. A lot of the women asked me about nutrition and what I was doing in terms of staying thin. And there's a lot of things that I'm changing now, kind of going back to my quote unquote exercise roots that I left when I was in my 40s, trying to get that. Because I'm at this point where I have this friend named Giant. And Giant was a DJ years ago, and Giant always kept himself in really good shape. I went on his Facebook page the other day, and Giant is just working and working and working. I said, you are so inspirational. I said, I need to get back to my routine. So I'm going to do that. So that's, so I'm doing a little bit of everything over there.
All right. So now I know you're still looking good 58 on YouTube, but you are My Mature Style on what platforms?
Just my Facebook group is My Mature Style. And I'm My Mature Style on Instagram and on TikTok. So I'm only still looking good on YouTube, where my 400 plus videos are still sitting there. And I'm also still looking good on my Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to find Faith, that is how you find her. Of course, we will have links everywhere.
Yep.
In the description box,
Thank
also
you.
in the show notes. Thank you so much, Faith, for joining us and being
Yay.
our first guest on the Wig
And I
Life
want to
Podcast.
congratulate both of you, especially Tia, you and your business. I have been watching you for several years, and I'm just really proud of all of the things that you've been doing, because I noticed that you just keep pushing ahead and pushing ahead and pushing ahead.
Yes.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, because
Thank
you've got to
you.
have that stamina, and I really admire that about you. I love silky sacks. Every time I do a wig review, I always talk about my silky sacks melting band, because
You
matter of fact,
do.
it's to the point where I need to get a new one. I'm wearing it out. And I haven't gotten your bags yet. And I swear, now that I'm going to start doing more human hair, I really need your bags. So I'm going to have to
Yeah.
get your bags.
They're nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And your support has meant the world to me. So I appreciate it. Again, check out Faith's headbands, you guys. They're worth it. They are worth the cost. They're quality. They're beautiful. If you are listening, go over to the YouTube channel so you can actually see it, because they are super nice. They come very nicely packaged. She has lots of choices and options, especially with BHM coming, Black History Month coming. If you're looking for a Black business to support, you definitely want to support Faith and Still Looking Good 58. Again, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and let us know what you're thinking of the episodes. And bye for now. See you on the next one. The next episode, we're going to be getting juicy. We're going to be talking about intimacy with wigs. So I know a lot of people have been asking about that. So you guys make sure you tune in. Again, thank you, Faith. All righty. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye. If you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to help support the Wig Life Podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating or review wherever you like to listen.
To stay up to date with the Wig Life Podcast, visit our website and follow us on socials everywhere at Wig Life Podcast. See you.